Hi, I'm Novel Mike, and this is my opinion. So, a demo for Shining Resonance Refrain dropped, and I did want to talk about that because if you've been paying any attention on my channel, I'm a big fan of the Shining Force series and the Shining series in general, and we haven't gotten a game in many, many years. So, when this was announced for the West, I decided, okay, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to cover it, I may try to review it, and I wanted to talk about this demo because I went in with very low expectations because I do not think this game is probably going to be very good. And so I expected the demo to also be not very good. And it wasn't completely terrible. There were problems, but there was things about this that make me think that this actually could be at least a decent but most likely low budget RPG. So to start with, the main draw of this game, probably for most people, is going to be the action RPG element in the combat system. The tutorials did a poor job of explaining all the mechanics of the combat. You don't really get a chance to use them very much because enemies seem pretty stupid. Granted, it's like the first part of the game, so it's meant to be fairly easy. So I don't know how it gets later on. I wish there was a demo for a later section of the game so you could really properly see the combat and how it's going to work. But for the main mechanics you have like a normal attack. You have this, I think they call it a break attack, where you do these repeated quick attacks to them that do a lot less damage. But because you're doing that, they also can't act. So it's almost a delaying tactic, which is kind of interesting. I don't know many games or action RPGs that do that, so if that works well, that could actually be a unique thing about it that's pretty cool. You also have special abilities that are hotkeyed. You can set up to 4, and you also have a dodge move and a block attack. Or not block attack, but a block. So, overall, I thought that there's the tools there for this to be a good combat system. The only real problem I had is it was trying to talk to me in the tutorials about how you can chain attacks together, but it never felt like you were really chaining things together. It would be like, okay, I do a couple attacks and I go to do my special attack, the force ability or whatever it is, but it would like wait for a second, let my normal attacks in, and then do it. So it didn't really feel like it was part of a combo kind of thing, which is just not a good feeling, especially for something like this. Maybe it's something you can get used to in the gameplay, but when I think of a combo system in action RPG, I think of stringing attacks together, one right after the other with no real delay, and then that's how you build up, like, you know, several hits and stuff like that. So that didn't feel super great. The story was generic. There's nothing really special here. I don't like the main character at all. His name is Yuma, and he's just this little wimp early on, and he's just, maybe he doesn't stay that way for that long. Like, by the end of it, it looked like maybe he was going to get better and that this is just a short beginning arc. But if that stays going on, then I am not going to like him. I also really hate his design. He's got this weird teal jacket with this white shirt, but the white shirt has like an orange outline, and it just looks awful. It contrasts very badly, and then he's also got this weird necklace, or not necklace, it's like it's a collar is what it is, complete with a lock on it, and I guess that's because of his dragon power or whatever, but it looks just bad. I do not like his character design at all. I know there's at least one costume for him. I'm hoping there's a lot of costumes because yeah, I did not like the look of him at all, and pretty much anything that you could probably change it to would make him look better than he does. So that isn't good. There are multiple playable characters you got to play as in this demo. There's Yuma, the main character. You actually started off with one of the main female leads, I'm guessing, this knight called, I think her name was Sonia. She was like the sword fighter with the shield. That's who you start the demo with. Seemed okay. Her character design is, to put it gently, fan servicey. I mean, that's the nicest way I can say it. It's fairly tasteless. I mean, giant boob window, short skirt, but wearing like plated armor. It just looks stupid. Like, there's ways to do fan service but not on a character that's supposed to be wearing armor. Like, it just looks really bad. Like, the main villain, I'm guessing, at least, is the main villain. I think her name was Excella, this imperial princess person, because why not? Everyone's royalty in these games. But she at least had like full armor on, but then a weird big old hoop skirt thing. But at very least, you know, her normal armor looked like normal armor. I don't understand this weird thing where Sonya has this giant chest plate that just doesn't even cover the top of her chest at all. It just looks so stupid. It doesn't look like it makes any sense for someone to wear in a fantasy game. And I know fan service and this was like otaku bait in Japan or something, but it just looks so stupid. The other character, I don't remember her name. There was this elf girl, blonde hair. She had a bow, had ranged attack. She seemed to be the healer. She also had, like, it looks like you could pretty much make out her bra, and she's wearing more of a Japanese, kind of like a kimono kind of thing, but showing a lot of skin. I mean, at the very least, that's not armor, but it's still, like, the fan service is just, like, so over the top and just the basic character designs. And, I mean, if that's what you want out of the game, then there you go, but it just looks really awful. In my opinion, at least. Like, I don't need such blatant fan service. If you want to have fan service in your games with special costumes or something like that, okay, fine, I get it, you know, sell that DLC, but do the normal character designs need to be that way? Can at least characters look normal? And like something normal people would wear? I mean, I don't know. I did not care for that at all. But again, the villain at least seemed to have mostly normal outfit, I guess, besides the giant hoop skirt. But yeah, that was our three characters we got to play as, and then the villain, and then the demo itself was fairly short. It's only about a half hour, and that was me taking my time with it. There was a couple things I did notice, like with the menu system. There is a like an encyclopedia within it where you can actually look up different terms, and they had a couple things listed about different nations and stuff like that. That's good, considering most of these games just throw you in and expect you to try to follow along with what's going on when you don't have like the background for a lot of events yet. So having at least a basic thing there for that they can add over the course of the game, so whenever something is confusing, you know, you can look it up. Like that's something the Mass Effect games do really well. So I did enjoy that. That is a good thing. Definitely seems to be pretty basic. You know, Evil Empire, Good Republic. Evil Empire must be stopped from taking over the world, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's a dragon, or well, there's several dragons and the main character can turn into a dragon. That was like the reveal at the end of the demo. I didn't hate the demo. Like, I'm kind of talking it down a lot, but I didn't hate it. I thought the combat seemed like it could be good. I didn't hate playing it. I didn't love it or anything. The dialogue was hit and miss. Some of it I thought was pretty good. Other times it was really cringy. But I will give credit to the voice actors. You know, when I'm seeing everything else in this demo as being fairly low budget, the voice work at the very least was quite good. I was expecting a really low key effort or low par effort, and in English at least it sounded great. I mean, no problems with the voice actors or the casting or anything like that, from what I could tell. The weird part with the way that the game does its delivery, though, is major events, instead of doing cutscenes, they have these visual novel-esque events where it's basically two people talking to each other, next to each other, which works in some games, but it's weird for an action RPG to do it, because, like, action RPGs are about the action, so you would think that in cutscenes they want to show a lot of action. But here, you didn't really see any action. There were a couple of scenes where you're transitioning, where, like, the main character turns into a dragon and stuff like that, but almost all of it is bookended with these just scenes where it's two characters with their character model talking to the other person with the character model on a static screen with a static background. And, you know, their face changes and stuff like that, but it's just, it feels very low budget. Like, that was the weirdest thing, is like, if the whole game's like that, I do not like that. Not for an action RPG, at least. Like, it just, it's not fun to watch just two people going back and forth talking when there isn't much else to really say or do in that demo. and there were like the biggest problem was like they were trying to illustrate that in these scenes that the princess was attacking people with her lance or something, and like you'd hear sound effects, and then like the voices would change and like the models would change slightly, but you wouldn't see them attack or anything. You would just hear it and get like a basic visual representation that something has happened, with like one of them grimacing or something like that from like being hit or something. But that's it. Like there's no actual like scene where you actually see someone like move and attack or anything like that, which is again weird because it contrasts so odd with the actual combat with an action RPG. Something like this would work with like a strategy RPG or a turn-based RPG better, because those games are more about being slower paced, and action RPG is generally meant to be much faster paced. So that was odd. I mean, it's okay to do some of that, at least some of the time, but like for important scenes, like when you're having your characters meet the villain for the first time, like you would think that they would have more of a higher budget with those kind of scenes, and if that's all they're going to do for this early scene, I can't imagine that the rest of the game changes all that much with that. So was not a fan of that. I'm still really up in the air on this. Again, I went in with extremely low expectations, so it was better than I thought it was going to be. I would not say this is a good demo or going to be a good game by a long shot. I think to me, it feels like it's a really low budget Tales game. I like Tales games, and if the story is decent, then I probably will still enjoy this game, but it's definitely not gonna, win any awards for being really well developed or, having a lot of unique things about it. The graphics themselves, like, this, you gotta remember, this is a PS3 game that's been basically remastered for the PS4, so it does look okay. I mean, it didn't look bad or anything for the graphics and everything. It felt very low budget in terms of the actual scene design and the way that things were playing out in cutscenes, or the fact that they really didn't have actual cutscenes, I guess you could say. Overall, I'm still probably planning to pick up the game at some point. I'm not sure it's going to be a day one purchase because it comes out like 3 days before Octopath Traveler, and that's where I'm definitely sinking my time into. Sorry, Shining Resonance Refrain, that is a terrible game to come out against. But anywho, I'm Novel Mike, that was my opinion, and I will follow this up hopefully with at least a preview or at least a first thoughts video or something of the actual game once I get a chance to play it when it comes out July 10th. So have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time.